Hi, it's Trey with the Lincoln Highway Association's California chapter with a short tutorial on how to use our online interactive Lincoln Highway map. All right, so the first step in using the map is getting to the map on the internet. And what you do is go to the Lincoln Highway Association webpage. It's lincolnhighwayassociation.org. And up will come our homepage. There are two places to find the map. Over here on the right, we see some navigation bars, one that says online map, points of interest, and history. Also on the top of the web page, we see some tabs: contact us, resources, the forum, state chapters, highlights, map, news, and home. So you can either click the tab map there or over here at this navigation bar, online map, which I am clicking now. And what will come up is the map of the United States with the Lincoln Highway, mostly blue, going from Times Square in New York on the East Coast all the way across the country to San Francisco and the Palace of the Legion of Honor in Lincoln Park. So as a default, when the map first comes up, it's in this map mode. You can see two navigation squares on the right up here, a map, which we're in. And when you put your cursor on top of the map, another navigation bar comes up saying terrain. We'll click that to see what happens. And as you can see, the mountains show up. So it's a terrain map. We'll unclick that. I'm not interested in seeing it. Over here, we see another navigation square, satellite. We'll click that. And I do use this a lot, especially in the close-up views. This is a satellite version of our Lincoln Highway map. Just below it, you'll see a little label navigation box. As a default, it's checked. If you uncheck it, the names of the states disappear. So we'll go ahead and click it and leave it that way. So there's two ways to look at the map: satellite view, and if we click map, we go back to the map view. And what do these lines mean? The pink, the blue, there's some green over here. Up on the upper right-hand part of the map, you will see the legend button, navigation button. Go ahead and put your cursor on that and click it. And up comes a navigation bar along with a legend. As a given, when you open the map up, the Lincoln Highway route is checked. If you check that box, the route disappears. I'm not sure why we would want to do that, so we'll just go ahead and click it, and there's the Lincoln Highway route. The second square navigation is the points of interest. If you click that, up will come literally hundreds of these icons, which, looking at it from this distance on the map, really means nothing. But as we zoom in, you'll be able to see the individual icons and learn what they mean. So for now, we're going to uncheck the box that says point of interest, and there they go. The next navigation box is electric vehicle chargers, and by clicking that, up come the three different types of electrical vehicle chargers that are available to those traveling on the Lincoln Highway. In the legend down below, we can see what the different colored marks mean. I don't have an electric vehicle, so I'm going to unclick that. And finally, the last little navigation square is center on your location. And this is especially useful when you're doing mobile navigating in your car. If you click that, what it does is, if you've allowed your computer to accept the location or send the location to the server, when you click it, a blue dot shows up like that, right where you're located. And I'm doing this from home, so the dot shows up there in the mountains of California. When you're doing mobile navigating, the dot will remain stationary and the map will move, showing your location in relationship to the Lincoln Highway. Very, very useful feature when you're on the move. But in this case, as we're learning the map, we don't need it, so we will unclick the center your location navigation square. The entire navigation and legend menu can be hidden by clicking this little hide button. There it goes. And to bring it back out, just hit the legend button. Hide. Legend. Hide. Right down below, you'll see a toggle full screen view button. By clicking that, the map takes up the entire screen on your computer, and by clicking it again, you can see your navigation bars up above. But in this case, we'll go ahead and toggle to the full view so we can see the whole magnificent Lincoln Highway running across the United States. Looking at it from this distance, we only get a basic overview of the road. So let's go in a little closer and see some detail. There are two ways to bring the map in closer. One is over here on the right. You can click the zoom in button, the plus button. The way to move the map is to use your cursor with the little hand and left click. It will grip the map and pull it. Go up and down, left and right with it. And the other way to zoom in is to double click the map with your mouse or your keyboard. Just double click and the map zooms in. Again, left click and grab the little cursor. It grips the map and moves it around. And here we are in California. You can see Lake Tahoe up to the right, San Francisco on the left, and the two routes that come through California that are original Lincoln Highway alignments, the northern route and the southern route. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit on this map of California and the Lincoln Highway so that we can see some more detail and find out what these different colored lines mean. And again, we can use the plus button on the lower right to zoom in by clicking it, or we can double click the screen using our mouse or keyboard. And why don't we go ahead and grip the map, move it this way, and let's take a look at Folsom, the historic old town of Folsom, and zoom in so that we can start seeing some of the details that are so much fun when using the map. Here we are now in fairly close. We can actually read the names of the different roads. And what we have here are a blue line, which is the original Lincoln Highway alignment from 1913. We have a green line up here. I know that's the second generation Lincoln Highway alignment, but if you're unsure, you go up to the legend button, click it, and up. Oh, one thing to remember, when you're in the full view mode of the computer, when the screen is completely taken up by the map, the legend button doesn't open. So you have to hit the toggle button, and then there's the legend button, hide legend. And we can see is that the green indicates a second generation road. The orange pink line there indicates a third generation road. Let's zoom in a little bit further by double clicking, and let's take a look over here and notice that the pink line or the orange line is thinner than the line up here. And if we look at the legend, we can see that the thicker lines mean drivable and the thinner lines mean not drivable. And you cannot drive this portion of the Lincoln Highway. This you would have to walk. At one time, of course, it was the road. People drove on it. But now the road goes over here on Greenback, and that's what the dark line indicates. If you look at the legend, it's the detours and other roads. This is how you get around when you cannot travel on the Lincoln Highway. So let's go ahead and hide the legend, and let's go to the satellite view. And we can see, let's go a little closer, and we can see the orange-pink line, and this is the walking trail right here. There's the historic Folsom Power Plant. One of the other things that you can do when you're looking at the satellite view is hit this button here. This is the rotate the map 90 degrees, and it does exactly that. Rotates the map exactly 90 degrees each time. The button below is the toggle button. When you're or tilt map button, when you click that, the map goes into either 3D or 2D mode, like that. So let's go back to our map. Now let's take a look at those points of interest that we saw earlier when we were looking at the entire route across the country. We couldn't tell much because they were all kind of jumbled up along the line. So we're going to go ahead and go to the legend up here, click it, and hit that points of interest button, the second one down. And immediately I see on the view that we have here, a flag has come up. You see when you click the points of interest, it disappears and then it comes up. And what you do is you go over the flag with your cursor. If your little open hand will turn into a pointing hand, and at that point, you go ahead and click the icon, and it will tell us that there is an old Lincoln Highway bridge over the old powerhouse. So that would be a feature you wouldn't want to miss if you were in the area. It's a really very cool old bridge. Let's back up the map a little bit, and to do that, we're going to hide the legend. And we're going to hit the minus button and back up, or zoom out, if you will, a little bit further to see if we can see more icons, points of interest. And we can. We see a couple of flags over here on Orangevale Avenue, clicking those. There's an entrance to an old gold mine right next to it. We see, to get out, click the little X. And right next to it, we see oh, there's that gold mine again. Sometimes if the icon, if you keep clicking and the same thing comes up, you're too far out. So we'll zoom in a little bit. And that button right there is the Orangevale Avenue Bridge, a 1915 bridge. So those are great points of interest along the old road. I see over here in downtown Folsom an L, one of the Lincoln Highway L's. We click it and find out there's a original 1928 marker on display at the Folsom History Museum. So again, that's what those icons mean. They're points of interest. And as you zoom your map out, you'll notice more and more of these icons popping up in various places. There's one that's shaped like a horse. We click it, and that's the old Duroc House Pony Express station. There's a bed over here. We click it, find out that's the old El Tejon Cabin Court, an old cabin court from the Lincoln Highway days. Icons, very useful. And again, to make the little icons go away, the points of interest, just click that button. All right, so let's take another look here at the map. And there's one last thing I'd like to show you before we end the tutorial, and that's how to do a street view. So you can get down on the ground and see the view as if you were walking the map. And let's do that right about here, where the walking part of the Lincoln Highway connects into Greenback Lane, and then you can drive over the Rainbow Bridge. And over here you can see the little icon character. You left click him and grab him and drag him, and then you place it right above where you want to put it. As you can see, there's a picture up above showing you what the view will be like, and then just let go. And he falls, and that is the view of the Rainbow Bridge with the old truss bridge on the right. Over here we have a rotate the view button. Click it to the right, and we can rotate our view. To move forward, as you can see on the ground, there's a little forward arrow, and when you see that, you just click it and the view moves forward. Let's do it one more time. And over here you can see that walking portion of the Lincoln Highway and how it does not connect into Greenback. That's the reason why you cannot drive this portion of the Lincoln Highway. So there is that street view option, which comes in very handy for seeing the different features on the map. The way to get out of the street view is up here on the left. You see that little arrow, click it, and you go right back up to your map. And that pretty much covers it for our tutorial on how to use the Lincoln Highway map. We will do another one on how to use the mobile version so that you can take the map with you in a car. I hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you around on the old highway.